What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Not So Much Football Talk. We're excited to be here for the second time of the week. This is the first time we're doing this, guys. This is the second time of the week. We know we are not live, so sorry for some football, and the first half, that's what we got. Second half, it was just one-sided. The Packers literally ran all over the Detroit Lions, causing me 2 fantasy games. Thanks a lot, Aaron Jones, deciding to drop a 47 burger.
Woo!
That's okay, though. Hey, that's all right, because that's something you cannot, you can't put your fingers in there and predict, or you can't change that. It happens, and it's going to be a long season. There's an extra game this season.
Mm-hmm.
There's an extra game, and I ain't going nowhere, baby. Anyways, yeah, so what y'all think about the game? Is Aaron Rodgers back? Is the Pack back?
The Pack is back.
Nah?
Hey. Oh, come on, guys. Last week, you guys were talking about, hey, this team is legit, even though this is a bad team they're playing. Now you're doing this.
Okay. The Lions had you beat out in the freaking first half. The reason why you won.
But you had 2 halves of football, though, game.
Yeah, the reason why you won is because it started raining. And Eric Goff not used to playing outside.
Oh, gee whiz. That sucks.
Reed, I will say that in the first half, the Packers showed that their defense is not capable of handling a good team. So I'll say it again, just like we said it about 2 weeks ago. Jared Goff's not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a good game against the Niners when the Niners were like, we got this game in the bag just because they were up so much. And pretty much the same thing happened here. The Packers were like, hey, they're keeping up with us, but they haven't seen us at our full potential on offense. Y'all's offense did do good. Most of it was Aaron Jones, I'll tell you that. But yeah, wasn't really impressed with everybody else except for Jones, honestly.
I would say it was about 70% Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he was most of it. Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns, but Tanyan had a touchdown. Adams had over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's expected.
They were making up for the game before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not against it. I think they're back. I think the Packers.
Yes, we are back.
I'm on your side here, Reed. And like I said, our last podcast, I am a little nervous. Not looking forward to the Packers and Niners game because I know how those games go. It comes down to the wire usually. But oh gosh, I really hope they don't play. I don't know.
Okay.
Niners are 100% a different team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like their defensive front's a lot more physical, a lot more, heavier on the front seven, the defensive side. So I'm hoping we use that to our advantage to get to Aaron Rodgers a little more than what Detroit did this game.
Yes. Well, I will say we're definitely not going to march into San Francisco and just destroy the Niners. That's definitely not going to happen. If we do win, it's going to be a hard-fought game, and it's going to be down to the wire.
Appreciate
it. Thank you. I do think I think I'm more confident going into the Niners game after I saw what I saw in the second half. We started using Eric Stokes, our first-round pick, cornerback, instead of Kevin King. Kevin King just couldn't do it last week. He couldn't do it in the first half. We started switching Eric Stokes in the first half, but he had blown coverages that allowed one of the Lions touchdowns. But In the second half, he came up big on that fourth down, had a pass block, and then he also had another pass block in the end zone. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. Is he going to be the next big thing? I don't know yet, but I am liking what I'm seeing out of him so far. I am glad our offense is now clicking, even though, yes, the Lions aren't that great, but we are clicking going into San Francisco, so I am more confident about that. And then I'm also our Lucas Patrick, our right tackle, should be coming back next week. He was in the concussion protocol this week, so our offensive line should look a little bit better, not great against San Francisco. And then, I mean, our defensive front, it looks really bad right now. Without Zadarius Smith, we had like no pressure, especially in that first half. So I am definitely worried about that, getting pressure on Garoppolo. Hoping we're going to be able to squeeze out a win against the Niners.
Definitely with a new constructed offensive line that the Niners have. I mean, they're pretty darn sturdy up front. Last week they were tested with the Philadelphia Eagles, and they were tested pretty darn good. So I don't know. Usually the Niners are a run-heavy team. Right now we have like no running backs, so let's see what's going to happen now. A lot's going to have to do with Jimmy G and how he performs. But I feel like we're talking very heavily on the Packers. What did we see from the Lions this game? Are we impressed? Are we really not that impressed? Are we disappointed on the amount of kneecaps that were bitten off? Or what can y'all tell me?
Just Hawkinson and maybe DeAndre Swift a little bit. DeAndre Swift didn't produce as much as I thought he would against like the weak defensive line. But I think most of it was because the second half, Jared Goff and the Lions were trying to come back from all those turnovers they had early on in the third quarter. So that's all I got to say. Hawkinson, if you have him on your fantasy, you drafted well. But other than that, I don't see anybody else on that team producing well.
Yeah, most of what they did offensively was just because of giant holes on defense that just about anybody should be able to take advantage of. And then Hawkinson, great. That touchdown he caught was great. Jared Goff put it right on the money. He did. That was a great throw. Jared Goff had some good throws. So I was like, man, this guy's pretty good. And then he had some other throws. I'm just like, okay.
We call those Jared Goff moments.
Jared Goff moments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were watching, but I was watching from the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning broadcast.
Mm-hmm,
and
same.
I love what they're doing. I love how they bring in people. They brought in Brett Favre, Gronkowski, Pat McAfee. I mean, it was awesome listening to those guys during the game. Pat McAfee even did a live feedback on a punt, and literally my night was made.
Mm-hmm.
That made up for me losing my 2 fantasy games. But one thing I did notice is that, Gronk, he talks a lot about himself and how successful he is. But out of all these tight ends, I feel like we do have a lot of potential of finding a new era of tight ends here, especially with Kyle Pitts coming into the league, Hawkinson, like we've been talking about. I know we always talk about Kelsey and Kittle, and Gronk, but I mean, we have a lot of a new breed of tight ends coming in. I'm super excited for it. I feel like we're going to start seeing a whole new deal of football when it comes to that. You get bigger, a little slower guys, but I mean, physical guys.
Yeah. That is exciting. I want to circle back to the Manning thing. Brett Favre was on there, and I just found it so funny how he shows up late and doesn't even know anything about the game he's calling for. It was the most Brett Favre thing ever.
And you know what? You can't say anything to Brett Favre. That guy is a legend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he can get away with that.
Yeah, bro. He's done his time.
He's done his time. Gabe, what do you think? You look like you're about to sneeze. I can't tell if you're frozen or not.
I think he is, man. He's still having the Wi-Fi
technical difficulties there. But yeah, speaking of all these fantasy points with Hawkinson, if you have the big three from the Packers, I mean, you guys should be happy. You guys should be happy with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams. I wish Devontae Adams did a little bit more, but you know what? You cannot predict. Maybe if you're Reed, you cannot predict that Aaron Jones was going to have a close to 50-point game tonight. But you know what? Kudos to them. A lot of fantasy owners are happy. So you know what? You can't hate out there. So good for them. Good for the Packers. I'm glad they found themselves. I was hoping they were going to be 2 weeks later, but you can't win them all, just like in these fantasy leagues. But Vince, you got any fantasy news for us?
Oh Lord, man, I'm glad you asked. I can go on for hours with this fantasy stuff, but I'll just get into some of the players that I saw this week and last week that I think are gonna do well for a bunch of people. So if you need some running back help, go look for Cordero Patterson. He plays for the Atlanta Falcons. I know the Falcons aren't a big, great team, but this guy's been producing the past 2 weeks. First week wasn't too much, but this week he really showed when that offense is clicking that he's a main part of it. Also, the Cowboys, the boys are back, but they only brought it back because of that run game. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, they both spearheaded that backfield, and they were like a two-headed monster. So if you got Tony Pollard on that free agency wire, he's a good guy to have on your bench because you never know how much production he's going to have, especially against who they're playing against. Another guy, and we said this about 2 weeks ago, never trust a New England running back. But this year is different with Mac Jones at the helm right there, man. So James White or what's their other running back's name? Harris, Damien Harris. If they're on the waiver wire, pick them up. This is the only time and probably the only year that I'm going to tell you this, but this is the year you might be able to trust a Patriots running back because
I have trust issues, man.
Hey, man, there's some good pass catchers back there. They're not going to get you rushing yards, but they're going to get you those pass catching yards, especially if you play in a PPR league, which is a points per reception. But then I'll get to wide receivers. This one's probably going to be the better one. These guys are going to be on your waiver wire for sure. You got Rondale Moore from the Cardinals. He's balling out. KJ Osborne, I mentioned him last week. He's balling out as well. 2 20-point games back-to-back and touchdown in this past one. What's up, AJ?
So I have a question. I know you said to go ahead and pick up Rondale Moore. See, as a fantasy player myself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these other fantasy players have the same question or a similar question. I was actually thinking about picking him up, but how can I trust Rondale Moore when you have players like D-Hop, AJ Green, Christian Kirk? Is he really that reliable?
Well, here's what I'll tell you, AJ. When you have a quarterback in Arizona like that, especially paired with his old college coach, Kingsbury, he's going to let Kyler Murray do whatever he wants, whether he's going to be running or throwing the ball 40 times on back-to-back occasions, especially when the games are tight. So these past 2 weeks, Kyler Murray's been pretty much one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now in fantasy purposes. So I believe in back-to-back games he's had about 44 to 46 passes, and he's completed about 30 to 35 of them. So with that, I mean, he's got love for Hopkins. He's got love for Kirk. He's got love for Rondale Moore. I mean, he's got a bunch of people. Oh, we got 2 games in this. All right. But, yeah, that's what I got to say on Rondale Moore. I think good. His average points right now is 17.6. This past week, he had 7 receptions, 114 yards, and 1 touchdown reception. So if that's not reliable for you, then I don't know what is.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate that answer. And I'm pretty sure plenty of people appreciate that as well. But I was actually thinking about that. Who else you got?
I got Mike Williams, Zach Pascal. Zach Pascal has had 3 touchdowns in these 2 weeks. He's basically a red zone receiver. So if you can find someone who has more receptions and more yards, I would pick him up over Zach Pascal. But if he's your last resort, pick him up. He's pretty consistent at the moment. But yeah, Mike Williams, I don't got to speak too much. He's basically the Chargers' best receiver right now because they have him in the spot that Keenan Allen was in last year. So now Keenan Allen's production is kind of dwindling, and Mike Williams is skyrocketing right now, especially with Herbert and the issues that he's having there. Someone I saw today that I really wasn't. He wasn't really on my radar, but his name is Quintez Cephus, and he plays for the Lions. So if he's on your waiver wire, and none of the guys I mentioned prior right now are on there, he's also a good guy. Last week he had 12.6 points. This week he had 14.6 points. So he's decent. He's getting some production there from Goff. But again, not the most reliable. He only gets about 5 catches each week. And I can go on, but I'll just say the names now. Tim Patrick, Michael Pittman, Henry Ruggs III. If those guys are on your waiver wire too, pick them up. Those guys are getting a lot of yards right now. I don't even got to talk about any touchdowns or anything like that because those guys are just getting it all in receptions and yards.
So I'm going to go ahead and put my own Niners down here because you mentioned that guy from the Lions.
Cephus?
Right? Cephus. I know, the Niners did very well defensively, but when it came down to midway through the third quarter to the fourth quarter, we had a lot of trouble. We had an injury. We took people out. We had trouble with corners. And then you go on to the Lions go on to Green Bay, facing not a very strong defense as we thought it was.
Reed's like, we? Reed thinks there's a top 5 defense there, but I don't see it.
It's bacon. It's bacon. It's an oven.
It's in the oven, right? Okay, so it's not done yet. That's why no shade's being thrown. But so, do you think that type of player is only productive, or that team will be only productive against teams with a weaker defense, or what if they go up against someone like the Broncos?
No, yeah, you have a good point there. That's why I said when if there's other guys in front of him, he's not the most reliable guy. He's only getting 5 receptions, and of course, against a weak defense, Jared Goff or pretty much Jared Goff, they can throw it to him because he's going to be open more times than not, just because they're having defensive issues. So even if the scheme is not elaborate in those passing games, these guys do have the capability of getting some touches, especially against teams that are having cornerback and safety issues.
Nice. Thanks. And that's Fantasy Talk with Vincent Bento.
Sure. Tune in next week for more because I'll have more.
There's always going to be news and updates on fantasy, guys, because everything changes. People spike up, people get injured. But that's just the name of the game. It happens. So stay tuned. We're going to give you the best fantasy advice that we can, and maybe it could give you the edge in your league. I know I get messages all the time by family members, friends, other people in other leagues, they should do, what they suggest. Yeah, one thing I always tell them to do is do not pick up a 49ers running back. Don't do it. Doesn't matter how good they look. I love them to death. I do, but for your fantasy league, you know what's best for you. Don't do it. But you see, we always try to give real advice here. I mean, it's easy to say, if you have Tyler Lockett, you're going to seal at least 20 points a game, which is true. But DK Metcalf, he hasn't been really performing fantasy-wise that well, right?
Yeah, man, he's been getting locked up lately. Reed made the point 2 weeks ago that he says that DK Metcalf isn't going to be that guy. But, when Tyler Lockett is getting the production that he is, I would have DK Metcalf getting locked up like that all the time. Just because, it speaks for itself. You got Tyler Lockett catching passes like that. I believe he only has 6 receptions. He has 4 touchdowns already. That's amazing news. So pretty much every time Russell Wilson throws the ball to him, it's more than 30 yards, and it's most possibly going for a touchdown. So if DK Metcalf is only getting you 10 to 12 points on fantasy, maybe 4 or 5 receptions game, I'd give it up in a heartbeat just like that as a fan. But, yeah. Right.
And that's what you call complimentary football right there. That's why a lot of George Kittle owners out there are very disappointed because of the production production, but he's a great team player. Without George on the team, I mean, we don't have successful offense or successful as it is right now. But it's all about how the game flows, and that's all about matchups as well. Like, if you look at me, I probably switch up my defense every week. In fact, I got to go back right now and go switch up my defense because right now I got the Niners, and as much as I trust in them, I know Aaron Rodgers is going to put up some points. So that's just the name of the game, like we said before. Let's talk about a different game. Let's talk about Thursday night football, you guys. And for y'all, you guys who are watching, Thursday night football should be going on tomorrow night.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. So we got, okay, I know. You guys are probably going to be like, that's not a great game. But you got the Texans and you got the Panthers. The Texans have been surprising people lately, me included. The Panthers been surprising people lately, me not included. I knew they were going to do well. You guys heard me in the offseason. But yeah, what are you guys looking forward to in those games? What matchup?
I got something in mind, but I'll let someone else take a jab at it. Maybe Gabe. Is Gabe ready to speak? He looks like it.
I do. Who I'm looking
Never mind.
forward to is rookie quarterback Mills. What?
Now keep going, Gabe. Keep going.
Keep going.
Oh, you said something. I thought it froze. I'm expecting quarterback Mills to do good. Is there?
Just keep flowing, bro.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going. Yeah.
What? Well, I got the Texans doing pretty good. I think that rookie QB is going to do some good stuff and hopefully get the balls down and play good. Like I said earlier, this week they have a great coaching staff. That coach has a big reputation. He's been doing fairly good. I think that rookie QB just needs to stay in the pocket, not get nervous, and make good decisions. And it might have a chance.
And who's that rookie QB again?
I believe his last name is Mills.
Mills.
I can't remember
Okay.
his first name, yeah.
To follow up on that, I know our last podcast live, we were mentioning, can we possibly see talks about Deshaun Watson? Well, it has been confirmed that Deshaun Watson will not be activated for a Thursday night game. And also Tyrod Taylor can't possibly miss up to 4 to 6 weeks with that injury. So, Texans, you guys need to start lighting some candles and, maybe get another Mills on your team. Get some Patty Mills. That never hurt anyone.
Favorite championships.
Yeah, but what I'm looking forward to see a little bit more of J.C. Horn. Okay, you got a rookie quarterback that's going to be playing for the Texans. I want to see how he's going to react on a prime time game, Thursday night football. J.C. Horn, was he the first or second corner coming out of the draft?
I think he was the second.
Yeah, I think Patrick Surtain was the first, and then J.C. Horn came out after him. So, I've always been a J.C. Horn fan. If the Niners did trade up, that's who I wanted for the Niners to draft. But I like what he's doing over there in Carolina. That's who I'm looking forward to seeing. Reed?
I'm looking forward to see Sam Darnold play. I haven't watched one of his games this season yet. The Panthers, he does have the Panthers at 2-0 right now. But if I'm going to completely believe in the Panthers, I'm going to need to see him really ball out. So that's what I'm most excited for.
Pretty good. Just for fantasy purposes, I know that he has, in the past 2 games that he's played, he's put up, I believe, 21 and 22 points. So he's been doing decent. He hasn't balled out and got like 28 or 29. But he has been doing it for his team. But the guy I'm looking to watch is DJ Moore.
Ooh.
So I have him on, I believe, 2 of my fantasies out of the 3. And he's been doing quite well for me. So I'm pretty glad to have picked him up. But I think going up against this Texans defense, their back 6 or like back 4, whatever defense they're playing in, it's been pretty good. So I think that the Texans can give them a game. even with the quarterback troubles that they have, just because that defense is playing very well. So that's a matchup, the defense versus DJ Moore for me.
Nice, you guys. Like I said, that's actually going to be a pretty interesting game. A lot of people are very curious on, the quarterback play for Texans and how it's going to affect them offensively. But what if there's a diamond in the rough? They have a team. Mark Ingram, he's been playing lights out in the running back position for the Texans, and they also have help me out here.
There are other running backs or
Yeah,
Brandon
the other
Cooks?
running back.
They got Brandon Cooks as a receiver. They have Lindsey as
the
their running
stud
back.
that came from Arizona.
Connor.
No, he came from Arizona to Texans for the trade for D-Hop.
Oh, David Johnson.
David Johnson. There you go. He's still not out of the picture yet. He's still, he does very well. I like that he's not, he doesn't take the whole load on himself. So I think I'm a big fan of that whole that combo running back deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I know week 1 he did very well. Week 2, the running game was kind of inexistent because of that front four and again with the Browns. So that was just a hard game for rushing, but I think against Carolina they might have a little bit more production. So I do agree with you there.
Nice. And for all you betting folks out there, as of right now, which it is Monday right now, late night, the spread is 7.5 points, favoring the Carolina Panthers. Now, that could be a bet that you want to take because it's up in the air. You have no idea how the Texans are going to be playing out. But I do believe there's another injury. There's a couple of injuries with the Texans. I know Danny Amendola. Is he with the Texans?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's another injured guy, so that's another hit on them. But what do you think? You think that spread is pretty accurate, or?
I would say it is, yeah. With the Texans not having their star quarterback at Tyrod Taylor, I think it's going to be a hard adjustment, especially for a rookie quarterback, like Gabe was saying. But yeah, I think that spread is pretty favorable. I think it might even, if it were higher, like 10-point spread, I think that could possibly be a thing as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what Vincent said, they don't have their starting quarterback. And remember, technically, Deshaun Watson should be their starting quarterback. So, I mean, really, technically, they're on their third string currently. So, it's not looking good.
It's kind of weird. It's Davis Mills, by the way. He's coming from Stanford. He was a third-round pick. But after Davis Mills is Deshaun Watson, and they don't have a fourth string. So if something happens to him, they need to get something, figured out and ready to go just in case. These could get ugly real fast. I haven't been keeping up with how Carolina's defense has been going as far as their front. So I don't know how much pressure they're going to be putting on the Houston Texans. But I don't know. I hope they do very well. Who do you guys have winning?
Should I go first again?
Oh, you want to go? It looks like you want to go first.
I'm ready. All right.
Okay.
Mainly because I want Sam Darnold to succeed, and I don't really believe in the Texans' current quarterback position. I believe the Panthers are going to take this 21-17.
Dude, what the heck is that?
I drew it from memory.
From memory? That's from the schedule?
Like Sam Darnold?
No.
Yeah.
That's an awesome Panther right there. Okay, 21-17. You got Reed.
21-17.
Yeah, I got to follow up with that one. So 21-17.
Okay. Let me see it.
I have I also got the Panthers 23-21.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to be a closer game than what people think. I think
Oh,
they're
it
going
has
to.
a thing going down like that.
Yeah, it has a thing
That's
going
how
down, like a little Matrix type of deal.
I forgot
But
about that.
I feel like they're going to totally change up their whole offensive scheme. I mean, and of course they will, right? But they're just going to be a totally different offense that this team has not seen. So they have not had time to prepare for this. Same with the Houston Texans because they had little time to prepare. But it's going to be something totally different that no one's going to be ready for. I think they're going to put up a fight, but they're still going to come out short.
Pretty good. Yeah. I will disagree with y'all, not on who wins, but on the closeness of the score. So right now, I got Texans only putting up 10 points just because of that quarterback issue. And I do believe that the Panthers' defense is decent. Their back four is pretty strong. Their front seven is not too strong. I mean, sometimes they'll get sacked, sometimes they won't. But most of their production is coming from that offense and McCaffrey. So that's a guy we didn't really mention too much, but it's kind of not worth mentioning because he's going to do well. I mean, he's coming off injury. He's here to make a statement. He's probably here to get a new contract extension too. I don't know when his extension ends, but if he gets more production, I'm pretty sure Carolina does not want to lose him, especially how they're doing this season.
They will lose a lot of fans if they lose him.
Oh, they would lose a lot of commercials too.
Oh yeah. Jeez, it would be awesome if he went to a different team.
Oh man, he'd make a big difference for a lot of teams. Whether it be like him just being a supplemental role because they have so many stars, but even then, like the production that he makes for the Panthers could translate very well for a lot of championship teams right now.
Sweet. We got one more prediction. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that in or not. But Vince, I didn't know you had that small little dry erase board. I've only seen the big one. Yeah, it kind of threw me off guard.
Same.
Man, I just shrunk it. I have a little shrinking ray and a growing ray. You know.
Oh, nice. I need to borrow that sometime. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to get Gabe's prediction, but you know what? We'll probably post that up on Twitter. If you guys are not following us on Twitter, we are at NSP Football Talk, or you can find us by searching Not So Pro Football Talk. That's our name, guys. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, SoundCloud, and I don't know. We might add a few more things on there. But yeah, if you guys have a chance, hit us up. I see
Texans.
Gabe going the underdog. He has Texans going 26-23.
Okay.
Wow. Pretty good.
That's pretty darn bold. He's thinking that the young stud from Stanford is going to come out and ball out. You know, hey, that could be the best possible scenario for the Houston Texans is having that guy ball out. I mean, Stanford, they have a pretty darn good school. And, I mean, I've been watching them this year. They haven't been doing too hot, but, you know, we'll see what happens this Thursday, you guys, which is tomorrow for y'all. We're super pumped up to watch it. We hope you guys are too. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us today. I know it's an off day, but get used to it. We're going to have shorter videos, but more videos. So hope you guys enjoy it. We are Not So Pro Football Talk. And until next time, you guys, you know, what should we say? Until next time, you guys, keep on grinding. That's what we always say. Keep on grinding.
Yeah, man.
I kind of want to change that. If you guys have different suggestions, let me know.
See you
All right, guys.